And now I'd like to talk about how you can use Runecast to keep an eye on your patch levels, the patch versions, and the actions required and needed to keep your environment updated and healthy. So there's a couple ways you can do this within Runecast Analyzer. Um, you do have the ability, obviously, to go through and review KBs. If there's any known documented issue related to your patch levels that you have in your environment, you can find them in the KB articles. But if you wanted just a current status of where you sit and where you might need to update your patching or your software versions, for that matter, you can go into best practices. So if I highlight best practices and I sort my results by manageability, you can quickly see how under manageability, it's going to start showing you best practice recommendations based on your patch levels. So if I pull this up, I'm seeing multiple failures. If I scroll down, eventually I start passing. This, again, this is my lab environment, so we don't fix things that often on purpose. But ultimately, you go in here, you can check out pass fail criteria if you expand one of these items. Okay, this specific example is telling you that I have a something about a supported NSX version. So my NSX version is in question here. If I go into details, essentially this best practice is telling me that the version of vCenter I'm running and NSX Manager together are incompatible, the two different versions. So we as always, we give you a link to the issue ID. We give you a link to VMware's reference material on this specific item. If you click the findings tab, you'll see the objects that are affected by this. And, in essence, this tells me, I have an interoperability issue between the versions. I can let Runecast via a simple scan that takes minutes to provide all of this data to me. So, running supported NSX version. So that is interoperability between the software that I'm running. Cluster configuration. But again, apply ESXi patches. So I'm failing a best practice. It looks like my ESXi host servers, the patching is not up to date. So again, this is a self check, if you will, and it's much simpler, easier, and quicker to have Runecast perform these actions. Like I say, you'll get results. You click Analyze Now, you get results within minutes. You have all this data packed in here, and you can go through and just get an idea of the current state of your environment. You don't have to log into each server, pull different reports from vCenter, go out to VMware's website and look at these things in the different versions and look at the interoperability between them yourself. You can let Runecast Analyzer do all that work for you. So again, I'm highlighting and I've jumped into apply ESXi patches. What is this telling me? So obviously, we all know, the recommendation of best practice from the vendors to keep everything patched up to date. We know that, but again, we have links out there to VMware's recommendations from their website. If I click on findings, again, we always provide the findings tab. Part of the real power of Runecast is showing you and identifying all the objects in your environment that are failing this best practice recommendation. So I have a list of all of these host servers that I need to go out and patch. As always, each of these sections and everything, you can kick out a report or generate a report and work from it. Might make it easier, or you can just work from the web client. You have the data here. The second area that is highly, as we all know, security and patching kind of go hand in hand as well. So within Runecast, you do have we have 7 different major frameworks depending on what you select to run and try to comply against in your environment. Obviously, you can go into each of these and get lists and details around the security patching and what's been identified. I'll highlight BSI. BSI framework was basically built around the ISO 27001 certification standard. This is a German or a European government standard. But again, ISO 27001, if you have interest or need to comply against ISO, then just enable BSI and that's going to get you closed. But to mention, we do have ISO on our roadmap. It should be released in the next version release upcoming. So keep an eye out for that. But if I look into the security standard, immediately I'm going to start seeing patches. Recommendations. Okay, I'm failing. Security standard and patches is telling, or security standard is telling me to apply these security patches. So in the best practice section, you're going to get VMware's recommendation based on the platform, the infrastructure. So your vCenter servers, your ESXi host servers, vSAN, Horizon, all of the products that we support from VMware, etc. And as well AWS, because we do analyze your AWS instances and compare in the best practice repositories pulled from Amazon in that case and not VMware, of course. But this gives you an idea, okay? So, this is a very valuable and easy tool to use to see where you stand with your patching, what you need to go out there and update, remediation efforts and steps that you need to take. And so that's what I wanted to illustrate. So, I personal experience being a sysadmin is you never seem to have everything fully patched. You're always kind of behind the eight ball, so to speak, and working on change tickets, getting different components in the environment updated, patched, secure. And, I just wanted to illustrate how you can use Runecast Analyzer to do this and provide you the data and information you can work from for you in an automated fashion. Most of these, Runecast is a proactive in nature solution. So you're able to get the report and go out there and fix things prior to some of these items creating downtime and issues in your environment. So, with that being said, again, one of the major top 10 issues VM admins face, or top issues we face and have faced, is patching our environment. This is just a couple quick examples of how you can keep an eye on your patch levels, your software and version intercompatibilities, and use Runecast Analyzer to do all the heavy lifting for you and provide the data for you. So, with that being said, I wanted to thank you for your time. As always, happy runecasting. Don't forget, we do have on our website a free trial, 14-day trial you can download and start scanning your environment and start seeing where some of these results are within your environment and see what Runecast can do for you. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you joining. Thank you very much.